So I've been looking for a new camera, a new video camera that can record video for more than 30 minutes, which is kind of hard to do. I recently bought the camcorder I'm filming on now, which is the Sony AX53, but it turns out it has some limitations, at least for my use case. Like if I set the white balance to manual, I will lose the face tracking that I'm actually using now to track my face, which is kind of a big feature for me, because I'm like one-man operation. I'm pretty dependent that the camera can do the focusing on my face without having to fiddle with it and do anything while I'm recording. So if I set the manual white balance, I lose face tracking, and if I run auto balance, sometimes it can have some issues if I'm having different color temperatures in my office/studio that I'm filming in now. So for those scenarios, it's not really ideal. So I'm gonna use it for some other projects I have, like I'm starting this podcast channel. I'm gonna record that with my Sony camera, and I then went out and bought this Panasonic FZ2000, or also known as the 2500, FZ2500 if you are in the US, probably Canada as well, I'm not quite sure. But they have a great deal on this in a store here in my part of the world, which is called Scandinavianphoto. So it was quite a bit cheaper here than I could find anywhere else online, and actually kind of in the same price category as the Sony I just bought, which is currently my limit of what I wanted to spend on a camera, just around the $800, the US dollars. So yeah, the great thing about this Panasonic is there is no recording limit, so you can record past those 30 minutes, which is an important feature for me. Plus it also have built-in ND filters, which again is a nice bonus for me. I'm here in my office where I plan to do recording in the future, and I have a big window right here to the right of me, with sunlight coming in, and an ND filter could be beneficial at those situations. So it's great that it's built in. One downside though to the FZ2000 that I'm not quite sure I can live with, because I have very limited space here in my office/studio, is the fact that even though if you take photos, the zoom range goes from, I believe, 24 millimeters to 480 millimeters. But when you are filming in 4K, like I plan to do, it crops the sensor by 1.43 times, which means that it actually goes down to around 36 millimeters at its widest point. So that's kind of narrow if you, like me, don't have that much space. Actually, my Sony camera is almost within reach of me because my space is so limited. So I'm not 100% sure I can live with 36 on its widest point. So only really one way to test it is to get it here at home and try it out and see if I can live with this. Else, I plan to do more YouTube videos in the future using this and my trusty FZ300 that I have over here on my overhead as my overhead camera. I've been filming with that for the last year or so, and I will continue doing that. All my overhead shots will be filmed with that, but this one, FZ2000, I will use for A and B shots and other projects of that matter to further enhance my YouTube channel. But anyway, let's do an unboxing and closer look at this beautiful camera here. So now I'm filming with the Panasonic FZ300, which is kind of the baby brother to this FZ2000. I've been filming with the 300 for a little over a year. All my videos on my YouTube channel have been done with this camera, and I've been pleased with it. But now when I'm looking to expand and do some more A-roll and stuff like that, I thought it was time to get another camera. So The natural evolution of that, of course, must be the FZ2000, which is the bigger brother, based on the GH4. I believe it's got the same processor, of course a different lens and a different sensor. This is only a 1-inch sensor, but still is an upgrade from the FZ300. Anyway, let's take a closer look and do an unboxing of this beautiful camera here. This is the top of the box, side of the box, and of course if you're in the USA you'll get an FZ2500, but it's the same camera. I'm not sure why they do this, but front of the box, right side of the box here, and the back side, you can see it has a 1-inch MOS sensor, 20 megapixel sensor, 20 times optical zoom, and also digital enhancement, built-in ND filter, which is amazing. Wide angle lens, that's only if you're shooting photos, or if you're shooting full HD video. If you do 4K, it will crop down to 36 millimeters. No, I think it's 32 or 36 millimeters, I'm not sure, but it will crop 1.43 times, and so on and so on. And the bottom of the box, Wi-Fi certified. Great, great. Let's open it up here. Check what's inside. Of course, all of the instructions here on the top. Let's just have a look at what it contains. Stuff about 4K photos. I don't understand that, but it's a basic instruction manual on different languages. So you get one for your language. Of course, I'm in Northern Europe, so those are the kind of languages we speak here. And a nice carrying strap. I'm not gonna use this. It's gonna live its life on a tripod here in my studio / office. Let's just take out the camera here first. Put it over here and check out what else is in the box. So you do get these kind of chargers here. Panasonic is kind of old school when it comes to charging the cameras. Of course, you need to take out the batteries and charge them in this one. I'm not the biggest fan of this. It is nice if you have several batteries, which I do have, because the FZ2000 uses the same battery as my FZ300 and the same charger as well, so that's good. But being able to power the camera through a USB, like for example Sony does and Fujifilm does it as well, probably others, I'm not sure, but that is a feature that is underrated. Panasonic, if you want to power the camera through the wall, you have to buy this dummy battery that you put in the battery department of your camera, and then connect it to a power supply that you have to buy separately of the dummy for the camera. So it's a whole big thing, but anyway, old style charger, both good and bad, I think. And a very nice lens hood. This is kind of a more towards a movie camera lens hood. Of course, it's a very movie eccentric camera. So I like this style lens hood. It looks cool and probably have a purpose as well, shading your lens a little bit. They do provide a micro USB cable, so it's micro USB to full size USB. But again, you cannot charge with this cable, so it's only for data. And who in the world will connect the camera to the computer through USB 2.0 to transfer 4K files to or whatever you have been shooting with the camera? I'm not that person, so this cable I'm not going to use. Of course, this protector for the lens cap. I've heard that it's pretty awful, that it doesn't really stay in place of the lens, or it's at least hard to get in place. I'm probably going to use it anyway, just to keep out the dust from the from the lens if I'm not using the camera for some time. And of course a battery. It's great to have a battery. And this is the, oh, it doesn't say here. Battery pack A. I'm not sure, that's probably not the model number, but it's the same as a GH2, FZ300, 200, FZ1000 and FZ2000 and 2500 and FZ2500 and stuff like that. So it's not the high-end battery that you have in the GH5 and forward. It's only 1200 milliamp hours, but it should be enough for at least an hour or so on 4K recording. I'm gonna use this with a power brick, but I don't have another one at the moment. But of course, you get the connector for the charger. Connect one end to the charger, other end European plug, because I'm in Europe, for the wall, and nothing else is in the box. You can see here. Let's put the box away and have a closer look at the camera. And a nice, beautiful tape, just taping the plastic bag, yeah. Both plastic bag and this soft material here. Not bad. It's well protected, at least. And this is the beast. It's a beautiful camera, I think. It is all plastic, at least to my knowledge. But again, it is a fairly inexpensive camera when you consider, you know, or compare it to like the Sony RX10, which is pretty much up there in price compared to this one. And like I said, right now they have a very good offer on a Scandinavianphoto. So I think it's 28% off, and it's the cheapest price I could find anywhere online. So I can put the link in the description for that one. I can also put the link for affiliated Amazon links, but it's not that cheap there. So I don't recommend, if you at least live in the Northern Europe, that you buy it there right now. The prices will of course come down, and at least when a new model come out, the price will drop more than that. But this is the top of the camera. You have different settings here, like self-timer, and it does do photo stacking inside the camera, which is a great thing if you're doing macro. I believe this can focus down to like 3 centimeters, so you can actually do some pretty decent macro with this one. And the 1-inch sensor can add some bokeh and background blare. Is it called blare? Defocus, background defocus. And of course, a lot of settings here. I will mainly be living here in the video manual mode, and maybe use the custom settings, so I can have some presets of my preferred shooting method. Of course, shooting button here, zoom in and zoom out, a selection button that you cannot repress, only for scrolling, video record button here, and this camera has a lot of function buttons. There's one up here, you can see here on the back, another function button there, and down here as well, and also have 3 function buttons on the side. So this is the side view, and of course you can see the beautiful ND filter built in, and it's not just a single kind of ND filter. You can see it's 1/4, 1/16 and 1/68, and you can even do auto, so that's pretty nice. You got options there. Of course, here you have a HDMI plug. It actually does 10-bit out, 4222 or 422 10-bit through the HDMI. So if you have an external recorder, you can have some serious color depth. Of course, the micro USB plug, which cannot be used for charging. Panasonic get into the 2008 realm, but 18 at least. But you can do the data transfer, but who will do that? I don't know. I'll just take out the card and connect it to my computer. There's a headphone jack, so you can do monitoring, but it will get somewhat in the way of the screen here if you rotate it, so you have to rotate it before you get here to this point if you have a headphone jack plugged in. Microphone jack is well hidden up here and away from the screen, so it's not in the way, which is a great feature. I'm going to use external microphone with this one. Backside here, a fully articulating screen, which is one of the things that's mandatory for me, so I can flip it towards myself when I'm filming. I'm a one-man operation, so to be able to see what I'm recording is an excellent thing without having to connect external monitors and stuff like that. So that's also one of the reasons why I bought this. Like the Sony one, the RX10 does not have that. Fujifilm does not have that on their cameras. I believe actually only Panasonic does that right now, or Canon. Some Canon cameras, but not any cameras that can do 4K and past 30 minutes recording. So yeah, that's the monitor. Of course, the eye sensor here, not the eye sensor, but the optical viewfinder, which is not optical. It has an OLED screen. It's a decently high resolution. Another function button over here, and other buttons here for your settings and stuff like that. A lot of the buttons are in the same place as what I'm used to with my FZ300. A lot of familiarities, and also the menu systems is pretty much the same. Let's go to the right side here, which is a very nice feature, that the SD card reader is actually on the side and not on the bottom where the battery lies. Of course, it's a single slot SD card reader. It's not UHS-2 compatible. It's just standard SDXC, but you need a faster card, at least I believe 30 megabytes a second if you want to do 4K recording. This is where you connect the remote. It's a 2.5 millimeter plug. You can use a remote like the one I have over here. I'm not sure if everything will work, like zoom in or zoom out. It doesn't work on my FZ300, but I hope it will work better on the FZ2000. Bottom side here is of course where the battery lies. Put it in this way here. And I have covered my serial number, but the tripod stand is right in the middle in the center of the lens. So you can put a tripod mount here and will not be in the way of changing batteries. Here we have the lens, which is a beautiful lens, I think. It's a 28, isn't it? Yeah, 28 to 4.5 lens. And of course, its zoom range goes from 24 to 480. If you're not doing 4K, then is it 32? No, 36 to 720, I believe. But correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, you have the flash here. Built-in flash, pretty worthless in my opinion, but it's there if you want. And a hot shoe here. If I could take this one off, yeah, it's a hot shoe. So yeah, it's a nice camera. It feels pretty good. It feels a little plasticky, but of course that's to expect it for this price range, I think. And I hope the tripod mount will at least last better than on my FZ300. That's cracked some on the outside of the tripod mount, and even a crack below here. I've super glued it, so it's still holding up, but I haven't really taken it off and on that much, so it's kind of weird. It's already cracked. So yeah, let's try and put this beautiful lens hood on. Like so. It looks pretty awesome if you ask me. I've heard there should be some issues with the in-body stabilization. I don't know if it's, I think it's only optical stabilization. I don't think it's sensor shift or sensor stabilization, but I've heard people complaining that even though if you turn it off, it will still make some noises. So connecting a microphone to the camera's hot shoe is not really recommended. I had the same issue with my FZ300. Even though I turned it off, it still would make these noises that could be picked up in the microphone. So I've been using one of these here, is like a C-shaped bracket that I will put on here, and then I can mount the microphone via this cold shoes here a little further in front of the camera. So I hope that will eliminate the sound. But yeah, that's pretty much an unboxing and kind of a first look. And of course, let's just try and turn it on and see if there's any juice on, and of course there is. And you can see this lens, one of the features of this lens, you can call it, no matter if you're zooming, it will not extend or subtract any more than this. It will always stay fully open, and all the zooming is done internally within the lens. It's kind of a neat feature, but you can see it's a pretty long lens, so it does take some room, but it's nice that it stays in this position. Now we'll just set it up and play a little with it and get to know it. And hopefully this will be my main camera for going forward with my channel. So I can take my channel to the next level. Hopefully at least produce some more content, better content. But this is what you get in the box. Of course, the manual, power cable, charger, lens cap, USB cable, lens hood, the camera and the battery. And again, go to Scandinavianphoto if you want a good deal, if you're in the Scandinavian area. They don't sponsor this video, I don't have anything to do with them other than I bought this camera straight off them. And I can put some other links in the description if you want to check it out. But that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.